Hello, everyone. So, welcome to tonight's or today's Agent of Roundtable. So, every week on Thursdays, we host some of the top projects in the Web3 ecosystem. To keep you guys up to date with activities going on with this ecosystem, and also some of the latest development and announcement as well. And tonight we have with us SP Network. So tonight we'll be discussing about bridging NFT, also some of the core developments from SP Network. And tonight we are with us one of their CTO. So welcome guys to tonight's Agent Roundtable. Please let's keep on this meeting so others can join us. So before we dive into tonight's discussion, Dima, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure, thanks. Well, I'm Dima Brook, the CTO of XP.NETWORK. We are a non-fungible token bridge. We specialize in bridging only non-fungible and semi-fungible tokens. We don't do fungible token bridging. We connected more than 30 chains. Out of them, at least one-third is non-EVM chains, and the rest are EVM chains. And basically, that's why we are unique, because no other bridge connects so many different protocols. So that's basically who we are. Well, if you want to know about the significance of bridging NFTs across different chains, I could tell you the following, that imagine a market where you only have money. So the money is the means of purchasing, and the money is the goods. Very weird market, right? So this is what we observe in the blockchain markets right now, and NFTs fix the situation. They allow goods or services to be in the market as well, while tokens, fungible tokens or chain coins, native coins, can be used for buying or selling those goods or services. So this is why we built this bridge for the users to be able to transfer those goods or services, or better say rights for those goods or services from one platform or protocol to another. So that's in a few words who we are.
Awesome, awesome. You know, initially people never thought about bridging NFT from one platform to another, or from a bridge from a marketplace to another. But when you guys came about this idea, I believe a lot of people has been looking for ways, bridge an NFT to another ecosystem, or also bridge it to another marketplace, because probably there is demand or there is supply in their other ecosystem. So talking about SP Network, so tell us about your specialization when it comes to bridging NFT across multiple teams.
Well, we started as a company somewhere in the end of 2020, and we came up eventually with the idea of bridging NFTs in 2021. We're a team of around 20 something people. Approximately half of us are developers. We're scattered across several countries. Some of us are community managers. As far as I know, we have community managers somewhere from Africa, from the United States, from Europe. And developers are mainly from Israel, Pakistan, India. Those are the main countries where our developers reside. So how we came up with the idea of bridging specifically NFTs? First of all, we were looking for different directions where we could apply our knowledge and expertise. And eventually we noticed that the niche of bridging NFTs wasn't pretty much occupied. Other bridges were, some of the existing bridges were doing NFT bridging as side projects. The main core business was bridging fungible tokens, but non-fungible tokens was just like, a fun thing to do. And that was pretty much the approach. But bridging fungible tokens and non-fungible is a very, very different thing. So what is a fungible token? And why even you need bridging? So first of all, blockchains, they are built like isolated islands. Blockchains are not built to communicate with something external, something that exists outside the blockchain itself. So it's like a box that, the walls of the box, they don't let any information in or out. And eventually people came up with an idea that you need to feed information into the blockchain and of course be able to retrieve some information from the blockchain, other than just transactions, or other than just reading information from the blockchain, which you get as a result of those transactions. So eventually people came up with the idea of oracles. So what is an oracle? An oracle is an external entity that can feed data to the blockchain or to a contract on a blockchain, and the contract can even base its decisions depending on what information it received from the oracle. And of course, then you come up with a question of trust. So what if this oracle feeds a wrong information, wrong data, and the smart contract makes its decisions depending on that? So of course you have to make it so reliable that it doesn't trick a contract to do something that it shouldn't be doing. And this is when this is also how in general bridging is born and how it's built. So there must be something between the blockchains that listens to the transactions or events that happen on blockchains and transfers this information in a secure way to another chain. So this is basically how we came up with this idea, because we saw that the niche is not occupied, and those who do it don't do it professionally and don't do it well. And that we saw that there is a necessity of transferring assets from one chain to another for various reasons. So one of the reasons is marketing or accessing different user groups. So for example, if you reside on one chain, for example, let's say Ethereum, you have a certain group of people and your goods are exposed to them, or not exposed if you're not properly doing your marketing homework. But if you want to target people in other ecosystems, especially non-EVM ecosystems, then you have to, first of all, make sure that they know about your goods. In our case, we're talking about NFTs. And second, you also have to do some marketing activity to make sure that they notice those things. So what we do is we bridge NFTs between different protocols, between EVMs and non-EVMs, and we convert the tokens from one standard to another. Because every protocol, even though, of course, everybody looks at Ethereum and what they initially invented, what became NFTs, they still have different peculiarities of implementation. For example, if we take Secret Network, this is probably the only blockchain where the NFT standard itself has a part that is private. Usually, other blockchains don't have this, and most probably that's why, because the blockchain is called secret. Okay, I think I've been already talking too much, so probably let's go to another question.
All right, thank you so much. I've learned so much from what you just said. Now, you've made me realize there are several reasons why people bridge NFT to another platform. Which brings me to the next question. What do you think is the value it brings to NFT ecosystem and also creators? So when it comes to bridging, what value does it bring to NFT ecosystem and creators?
So you asked what makes people bring NFTs from one ecosystem to another, correct?
Yes, the value. Yeah, the value.
Okay, so we can divide people into different groups. One group of people will be regular users who are non-creators of NFTs, who just bought NFTs for various reasons, maybe for reselling them, or maybe for using them, collecting them, maybe using them as an asset in a game. So they would want to move their NFTs to a different protocol because either they want to resell it to someone at a higher rate, or because there is some application where they can use this NFT in a new way. For example, if I buy an NFT on Ethereum, I could take this NFT to some other chain, for example, Secret or Layer 2 of Ethereum, and I could, for example, use this NFT as a collateral in an application that gives me a loan. This way, I'm not selling the NFT because I don't want to sell it. For example, this NFT has value for me, but I don't want it to be a dead asset. I don't want it to be just lying on my account without bringing me money. So I will get some tokens in return for my NFT. I will use the tokens for maybe staking or doing something else to earn on the tokens, while I will be able to retrieve my NFT when I earn the money and when I return the loan with interest. Another group of people are teams of NFTs who actually created those NFTs. They can look for something else. For example, a team has created a collection of 10,000 NFTs. And in their native chain, for example, Secret.NETWORK, they managed to sell 5,000 NFTs, which is like a half. And there's no more demand for this collection because all the people who want it, for whatever the reason they have, maybe it's a game, maybe it's something else, the demand has been satisfied and nobody wants it anymore in this particular ecosystem. So what can the team do? They have two ways. One way is to forget about this collection and start working on something new. Another thing is they could bridge the rest of their collection to another chain, start a marketing campaign over there, maybe collaborate with a team of another blockchain, and give a second life to their collection, which basically will allow them not to throw away the rest of their collection, but to give it a second life and sell it. Another group of people, in such case, could be blockchains. So blockchains can be interested in attracting new collections or people with NFTs to their ecosystem to grow their ecosystem. For example, Secret.NETWORK could be interested to bring famous collections to Secret.NETWORK to popularize, to make the name Secret.NETWORK more familiar to people, to be able to write articles in media that this collection is now here, it's available, or vice versa. It could promote sending NFTs from Secret.NETWORK to other blockchains, because with our bridge, the wrapped metadata of the NFTs always has the name of the chain of origin. So this could be like a flag waving, hey, there is a community, there's an NFT community on Secret.NETWORK. And it might be interesting to visit the blockchain, to visit the ecosystem, because there are cool things happening. Okay, so basically what I just said, to sum it all up, there are like three groups of people who can be interested in moving NFTs from one chain to another: users, regular users, owners of NFTs, teams of NFT collections, and blockchains. And they all have different reasons of bridging, and we've just discussed each of them.
Yeah, thank you very, very much, Dima. Thanks for that. So, talking about the bridging and, people bridging to different ecosystems. So, what do you think are the challenges faced, when bridging NFT with private metadata? Like, okay, now for those who would love to, bridge NFT with private metadata out of secret or into secret, what do you think are the challenges?
Yeah, very good question. Well, there are several challenges. One of the first challenge is bridging NFTs across different platforms. Well, of course, the first challenge is to, in a secure manner, to deliver information from one blockchain to another using Web 2, of course, which is internet and everything connected with it. A second challenge is to convert from one standard to another. in such a way that the NFT on the other side looks and feels native. Why is it important? So some people think that standards are limitations. And they say, well, we are very creative and we are very innovative and we don't need any standards. We don't want to follow standards because we can invent our own. Well, that could be a good thing, but if you don't follow the standard, usually it means you become incompatible with everybody else. And we already experienced what it might look like. So, for example, our bridge, we received like 20 grants from different blockchains for connecting them and being able to bridge NFTs from and to those chains. And on some chains, even though they're EVM because they use Solidity, still they have some different standards. And for example, we connected a blockchain called Hedera, which uses Solidity, but they have their own standard HTS, which stands for Hedera Token Service. And when we started developing, when we signed the grant agreement, this thing didn't exist. So we just connected them as a regular EVM. Everything was going back and forth. But then when we had to deliver the grant, we kind of asked them, look, we see that it works, but we can't see our NFTs in the Explorer, and we can't see our NFTs in your marketplaces. What's going on? And they said, right. While you were developing, we introduced this HTS token service. And now, in order to be compatible with everybody in this ecosystem, you have to follow this standard. You have to inherit from this contract, and only then you'll be visible. So see how important it is. So even though you think you're doing the right thing, but if you don't follow the standards, nobody will notice you. Nobody will see you. This is how important it is. So that's why one of the major challenges is to comply with the standards of the destination chain. So for example, if we're sending an NFT from, let's say, Binance to Secret Network, of course, this NFT has to be minted in such a way that marketplaces on Secret Network or the Explorer of Secret Network will understand that this is a proper NFT and will treat it as such. So this is one of the most difficult challenges, and especially it becomes difficult when the standards are completely incompatible. So for example, let's take again Secret Network, because you guys are all familiar with your own protocol. And you know that you have this secret part, and other chains don't. So also, it was a challenge for us. What are we going to do with this? And we had a discussion with the Stash, which is the marketplace on Secret, and we did discuss it with a team of Secret Network, and we came up with a solution like this. So we don't bridge the secret part to other chains, but we add an attribute to all the bridged NFTs that arrive to other networks, which says that there is a secret part, and if you want to reveal it, return this NFT to Secret Network. And there it will be available for you to see. So first of all, it encourages people to send NFTs to Secret Network. And second, it doesn't break the integrity of the collections and NFTs. So everything follows the standards of Secret Network and encourages people to migrate to Secret Network. So basically, these are the challenges.
Yeah, I think that will be a challenge for some people who are not willing to go through those steps. Once these steps are too much for them, there might be discouraged regarding that. And that's why XP.NETWORK is making it much more faster and much more easier for people to be able to bridge NFT. And of course, bridging the private metadata is important, but bridging it to another ecosystem that doesn't support the NFT standard, it's another issue. You're having to go back to Secret Network to reveal the private metadata or the private content on the NFT, which is also a different case. Well, I hope as time goes on, there are several solutions being provided towards that. So now let's talk about the partnership between Secret Network and XP.NETWORK. So what do you think? What solution are you providing to the wider NFT community, except from the ones which you just mentioned? So what other solution providing to the wider communities for creators and also for collectors?
Right. So, partnership of XP Network and Secret Network is in a way that we also received a grant for connecting a Secret Network to all the other blockchains that our bridge supports and backwards, which means you guys can send your NFTs that you already have in Secret Network to such chains as Ethereum, Binance, Polygon, Phantom, Avalanche, Gnosis, Algorand, Fuse, Tezos, Velos, IOTX, Aurora, Godwoken, GateChain, VChain, Ton, which is the Telegram blockchain, Scale, AbbeyChain, Caduceus, OKC, Solana, Internet Computer, Hedera, Near, Aptos, Arbitrum Nova, and soon you will be able to do it to Casper as well. And several chains are coming soon, such as Optimism, Arbitrum One, and several others. So you can send your NFTs over there, and in return, you can send NFTs from all those chains to Secret Network. Of course, the foreign for Secret Network NFTs won't have the secret part because it doesn't exist on the other side. But we also discussed with the Secret team that we might think how we can cooperate and make a contract where the secret part can be added to the NFTs. And this could be one of the reasons why some collections might migrate to Secret Network, is because they want to add the secret part and add some value to the collection. So another way of cooperation could be if you guys, for example, want to join some, let's say, game, or you want this game or metaverse to be part of your ecosystem, you could, first of all, you could speak with us, and if we know this game, we could introduce you guys to each other, and then we could find a way for this either game, metaverse, maybe marketplace, or some other DApp to start building on Secret. And we could also make sure that the NFTs that are related to the project are bridged to Secret Network, enhancing or like improving the community. On the other side, collections that already exist on Secret Network could also not be limited to the Secret Network itself. Like I told you, if the demand is satisfied internally, then what do countries do? They usually start exporting their goods to other countries. Like imagine for a moment that such companies like Mercedes, BMW, I don't know, Toyota, would only sell their cars internally, only inside their countries. Would there be global companies that everybody knows and enjoys their products? No. Only local population of Japan would know Toyota. Only people in Germany would know Mercedes and BMW, and so on. But we all enjoy those products. Why? Because they export them. So it's time for you not to think only within the limits of Secret Network. You can build on Secret Network as a domestic product, but then you can expand your collections to the other ecosystems, and eventually it will build like a global market. So imagine the World Trade Organization, right, where countries can trade between each other without taxes, for example, which encourages trade, right? So you guys shouldn't be afraid of that, because the volumes will just bring more energy to your ecosystem, more. You will be able to create with more volumes and exchange with other ecosystems. So this is something that we are bringing. And what is innovative is that we can also create a standard on other chains, such as EVMs, where this secret part can also be held. Like not transferring this secret part right now was a temporary solution, but if you want the secret part to be on the other side, it's not a big deal. We can add this functionality to the destination contracts, and specifically for Secret Network, we can bring your NFTs to a special contract where secrecy is also observed. So if your guys interested, connect. Just let us know, and it will be there. I think that in general, this idea of having part of the NFT data in a secret state is a great idea, which can boost secret network ecosystem, because basically it allows for so many applications of NFTs. For example, patents, right? You can hide part of the information inside the patent in this secret part, right? And whoever owns this patent, they can see what's inside. And whoever doesn't, they can see the number of the patent, they can see the topic, what it's about, but they won't see what's inside. Also, different, for example, state documents, right? For example, governments can start creating passports or IDs of citizens inside secret NFTs. And the owner of this NFT can see it. Or, for example, if this owner allows someone else, for example, a government official, also to view it, then this viewer key can be passed to this viewer, and then can be replaced with another one so that nobody else can see it again. So these are the use cases that you can first implement in Secret Network, and then you can export this technology to the other chains using our bridge. So these are the ideas, guys.
I was about to ask the next question
Right.
regarding the use cases for XP Network beyond Secret Network, because I believe there are other several use cases of XP Network beyond Secret Network, because we have other members there from different ecosystems. So, which they would love to know more about XP Network and their use cases.
Right. Well, speaking about the use cases, I saw that recently a collection called Sly Foxes was able to bridge, I think, more than 100 of their NFTs from Secret Network to Hedera. So Hedera is a semi-EVM blockchain. It's a bit different than many other EVMs. Like I told you, it has its own standard called HTS, which stands for Hedera Token Service. It's a contract that has to be implemented in order for the marketplaces and the explorers and basically the NFT indexer to track your NFTs. And they have a growing community. And that was a good move for Sly Foxes to try this new ecosystem and bridge part of their collection there. So this is one of the use cases that we recently had. In general, we had very successful use cases between EVMs and non-EVMs. For example, we had a collection that migrated from Ethereum to Multiversix. At the time, Multiversix was called Elrond, after a character from The Lord of the Rings. And they became collection number 2 in terms of number of sold NFTs and turnover of tokens in Elrond ecosystem. It's called Multiversix. Another collection that also migrated the same way from Ethereum to Multiversix, they were on the 8th position in the ecosystem. So they were able to triple their sales in comparison to what they had on Ethereum. So even though many people think that Ethereum is the number one blockchain, and many projects want to go to Ethereum from wherever they are, I would tell you from what I observed is that even though it is a blockchain and even though there is a huge turnover of NFTs, but it's very difficult to stand out in such a big blockchain. So there are hundreds of thousands of contracts of different types on Ethereum, and it's very hard for a team to be noticed by the users. So the fact that you are on Ethereum doesn't guarantee that your collection will sell. So we also had collections with negative experience on Ethereum. They migrated from some blockchains to Ethereum, but they didn't do proper marketing activities, and they couldn't sell their collection, even though the collection actually was good. and it was successful in their home blockchain. So just moving to a big blockchain and famous such as Ethereum doesn't guarantee anything. Sometimes moving from Ethereum to a smaller ecosystem, which is lively, which can provide you support of the blockchain team, and with proper marketing activities, you can succeed much more than going to a bigger blockchain. So don't run for a bigger blockchain. Look for the right ecosystem and the right environment for your collection. That's what I would say from what I've observed. And also, when you convince your community, if you're a collection team, to migrate to this or that chain, make sure that there is some infrastructure waiting for this collection over there, and there is some utility for the NFTs. Because if there's nothing waiting for it and there's no utility, most probably it will not succeed. So if you're a game, then you have to have some maybe smart contracts connected to your game or something that will allow users to apply your NFTs over there. And then there will be traction, there will be hype, and there will be interest to your collection. If it's just a bunch of pictures, then and you don't have any application, then it pretty much doesn't matter on what chain you are. We are observing this bear market where NFTs without utilities slowly become less interested to people, and NFTs with utilities become more and more attractive to people, especially in comparison with those that aren't. So speaking about the capabilities of XP.NETWORK's bridge, especially in comparison to other bridges, is most other bridges, especially those that mainly specialize in fungible token bridging, they treat NFTs as, as a weekend project. They just implemented it somehow. They don't really think it's something important. And what happens is NFTs, for example, that when they arrive to a foreign chain, they may arrive to a single contract. All NFTs from all collections, from all chains, just arrive to the same contract. Just imagine how it looks in the marketplace. So you come and you see a salad of different collections. Here you have some cartoon characters. There you see some sports cards. Then you see some naked girls. Then you see some weed that is sold as NFTs. It looks very, very weird. And it doesn't encourage sales of those. Because, moreover, it's very difficult to track what goes and what doesn't. So how should users understand what they are buying? Like if you see that kind of stuff in a collection, it's very difficult to understand which of those you need to buy, or which of those you need for a game or a metaverse or anything, because everything falls into the same collection. Well, our approach is very different. We bridge every collection to a special contract that only holds NFTs from this collection. They are very much distinguished from anything else in the marketplace, which allows you to track how many of those exist on this or that chain, and which doesn't create this effect of a salad inside of a marketplace. One other challenge that I also wanted to talk about that I didn't speak about before is rarity. So for NFTs, you see, bridges who only concentrate on bringing fungible tokens, they don't notice this thing. Why? Because what is a fungible token? It's just a contract. It knows how many of those each user has. That's basically it. You don't have metadata, and you don't care about rarity. While for NFTs, it's crucially important. It impacts the price of an asset, and rarity is one of the key factors why somebody would choose to buy or not to buy an NFT. And what happens? We figured that blockchains were not built to track this rarity automatically. I mean, some marketplaces they calculate rarity dynamically, and it works really bad for bridged NFTs. Why? Because imagine you have a collection of 10,000 NFTs, and out of those, let's say 6 are super rare, right? Then imagine that you bridge one of those super rare NFTs from one blockchain to another. The only NFT in the contract over there. What does the marketplace think? It thinks all the NFTs, 100%, are the same. So basically, this NFT is absolutely not rare. You see? This is what happens with dynamic calculation of NFTs. So some collections who think about bridging, they started calculating the rarity before they deploy collection on a blockchain. So they calculated while they have the entire collection, and they add this information to the metadata of their NFTs. So each NFT internally already knows its rarity. And this is the right thing to do for cross-chain collections. So if you're guys only thinking about starting your collection, make sure that you calculate rarity in advance and you add this information to the attributes inside the metadata. Then when your NFT arrives to a foreign chain, it already has all the necessary information, and whatever this marketplace calculates dynamically becomes irrelevant because your NFT says, I have rarity this and this. Okay, so this is another challenge, which basically people didn't think about before bridging became possible. And now this is something we have to think about.
I must say
Did I
I've
answer
never
the
thought
question?
about it as well. Yeah, of course you did. Thank you very much. Well, I never thought about it myself as well. Not until now when you are saying it. Well, yeah, thanks so much for joining us on today's roundtable, and thanks to everyone who tuned in. So now let's leave the room for questions. So if anyone has any questions for XP Network or for Secret Network regarding bridging NFC, please do feel free to request to speak. Or if you have any collection from any other ecosystem, you are looking forward to bridge it into Secret Network, please reach out to SK Network so you can work together on bridging the NFC. Or if you're looking for to bridge your NFT from Secret, bridge out your NFT from Secret Networks to another ecosystem, of course, they are willing to assist you regarding that. So let's wait for some minutes if anyone has any questions. Please do request to speak. So while we wait for questions, Dima, is there anything you'd love to share regarding your roadmap or any latest development from SP Network?
Well, yeah, right now we are working on integrating more blockchains. For example, Casper is coming. For example, um, Internet Computer is also on the final stages of testing, and it will be delivered pretty soon. Besides, we're also working on making it possible for you guys to earn XP.NET tokens, being validators of the bridge. So right now I won't tell you the dates because something might change. It's a very complicated thing to do, but this is also something that we are working at. And basically we will just keep adding more and more blockchains. So eventually we want to cover like 80-90% of the market. All the chains that support NFTs surely eventually will end up being connected by the bridge. And this will create the ecosystem for you to not really worry where you want to buy or sell your NFTs, or maybe use them in a different way, because you will always know that there's a bridge where you can easily send NFTs to. Speaking about recent changes of the bridge, if you go to our documentation, you will find that we migrate from one version of the bridge to another. So in the first version of the bridge, we pretty much bridged like the other competitors. Like NFTs arrived to one contract, which was a salad. In the second version of the bridge, we already created collections, separate collections for every bridged collection. In the third version of the bridge, we implemented contract deployment. And but in all those previous versions, we had whitelisting. So whitelisting is like a firewall in the Web3 world, which doesn't allow untrusted contracts interact with the bridge. You've all heard that many big bridges have been hacked and millions of dollars were stolen. Fortunately, it never happened with our bridge. It's very secure. One of the many patterns that we use to secure the bridge is whitelisting, which means we first check that the contract that tries to interact with the bridge is benevolent. It doesn't have any malicious code trying to hack the contract of the bridge, and only then we can interact with it. But that was a bit of a bottleneck because it took us some time to check every contract, and it wasn't very scalable. So now we came up with a different solution. Now NFTs, when they're sent from chain A to chain B, there is a special contract deployed on chain A to hold those NFTs. And this allows us not to interact directly with NFT contracts, which means the bridge is still secure as if they were whitelisting, but there's no bottleneck because every collection is now held inside a special contract. If this collection tries to hack the bridge, it only impacts this contract that tries to hold its NFTs, and all the rest are safe. And basically, this allowed for anyone to start bridging without interacting with us and without waiting for us to check the contract for having no malicious code. So these are the new things that we have that allows us to stand out in comparison to the other bridges. So we are very safe. We don't have bottlenecks. And you can just start bridging whenever you want. Do we have questions already?
Yeah, just jump in here and just anyone that does have a question, just request to speak and we'll bring you right up on stage. I did have one question for you though. I tend to like the technical stuff, and as I was listening to you speak about validating the bridge, I was just wondering what will be involved in becoming a validator. I know you mentioned there was a permissioned approach to bridging contracts and things like that. Is it going to be a delegated proof of stake type of scheme, which is kind of normal to Cosmos, or is there something maybe more specific to NFTs, or what could you tell us about that?
Right. Our technology will not be based on Cosmos. Rather, it will be based on Substrate, which is a Polkadot ecosystem. So basically, the users who will want to become validators of XP.NETWORK, they will have to run nodes. Nodes will be combined into clusters. When you're included in a cluster, there will be a group key generated for the cluster. This key will be generated in a distributed way, so every participant will distribute their part, and then the parts will be exchanged within the group. And then a common group key will be generated, and this group key will allow threshold signature. It means that not every participant of this cluster has to sign, but if at least the threshold signed a message, then this message is already valid. This allows, first of all, for some participants to be offline for some reason, if something happened, without endangering the bridge from not functioning during this period. Okay? Of course, if validators are offline, they will be penalized for that. So it's not that we encourage being offline or not responding or responding in a malicious way. Of course not. You will be penalized for doing so, but it will not endanger the transactions. Okay, so the clusters will be replaced with other clusters every epoch. We will later write in our documentation how long an epoch will be and how many validators will be inside one cluster. But basically, that's how it's going to happen. So first of all, you will have to download the software of this validator node. Second, you will have to stake XP.NET tokens in the special smart contract. This network of validators will altogether comprise blockchain. It will be something like a Polkadot parachain, but it will not be connected to Polkadot because there's no need to do so. So the connection to Polkadot was meant in order to communicate with other parachains, but this parachain, like, it doesn't need to connect in this way. It connects between the nodes just for the way to securely validate the bridge transactions and to interact with each other. And the contract, the palette that will hold this information will also be on this chain. So basically, this is the bird flight view of what's going to be.
That's awesome. Actually, that's amazing. I love to see more of the Polkadot technology connected to to all the different ecosystems, but to me especially Cosmos. So I'm pretty excited about a couple of the other substrate integrations like Picasa and Composable and things like that. And I hadn't realized that XP was based on substrate, so that's actually really amazing. And then you also kind of blew my mind when you mentioned that it's not going to be dependent on being a true parachain. So it sounds like you don't have to go through the crowd loan dynamic and all of that. So I'm really excited to see more on that. We do have a speaker asking to come up here. Give me 1 second, I'll bring him up. Secret NFT Hunter, you should have speaker permission here if you want to go ahead and ask a question.
Hey, Jax here. I'm just joining in a little late. I apologize for that. But just getting off work, and I heard the last probably 15 minutes. But I just wanted to kind of shout out to XP as a creator for the Sly Foxes collection and using XP to bridge from Secret to Hedera. It was an incredible experience. We're looking forward to getting those NFTs out for the Sly Foxes on Hedera to collectors. But I really just wanted to say, props for everything you've done. I mean, I see what you're doing being of a tremendous value to collectors and creators both. From the collector side, as you mentioned, your ability to scale from having whitelisted to almost, if you want to say, permissionless bridging is really going to be key for collectors to be able to list on any marketplace, on any chain as you guys continue to grow. So, in short, very bullish on XP. I've loved using it, and I hope that what we're doing with the Sly Foxes from Secret to Hedera, and then from Hedera back to Secret, for collectors can at least get people experienced with it from maybe both ecosystems. And if that's your first chance to interact with it, definitely let me know your feedback when we get around to it. And I'm just extremely bullish on this opportunity to work with XP on this collection.
Well, thank you for your kind words. It's really a great pleasure to hear that you had a good experience using the bridge. And that's what we're trying to bring to the community. We really had this bottleneck. We knew about it, but we kind of didn't have another solution for a while to protect our bridge. Our greatest fear was to join the long line of bridges that were hacked, and we didn't want to be one of them. So once we came up with another solution, we implemented it, and we are joining more and more chains to this version 3.1, which doesn't require whitelisting. And eventually all the chains that we support will be there. And the new chains that we support, we also try to deliver them immediately without whitelisting and with this solution. So thank you guys for using the bridge. The team of Sly Foxes. You are the first big collection that from Secret Network who used our bridge. You're like the pioneers. And I guess you're probably the biggest collection from foreign chains that entered Hedera. So I think it's also a big event for them. And it's a reason for both of you guys to make it public. And I hope you will succeed with the part of your collection on Hedera, or you will be able to bridge them back and people will have like new experience they never had before. So we encourage other collections also to choose foreign chains where they could come and they could spread the word about Secret Network, because it really is a unique chain. And, just experience something new. Are there more questions?
I'm not seeing any more requests to speak here. I'll give it, another minute or two just in case anyone else wants to jump up. But let me just second what Jack said there. I'm extremely bullish on what you're doing. The cross-chain NFT narrative is one that I've long thought was being slept on. Just a big opportunity in the space. NFTs, I'm bullish on the technology, but I've always had an issue with the fact that the NFTs were siloed to a single network. And you guys opening up that interoperability between networks for NFTs is just a really big deal. I know personally, I don't have a ton of different NFTs, but I do have several, and I'm spread across quite a few networks. I got some on Ethereum, some on Smart Chain, Solana, even Hive, and then a good deal on Secret. So from a personal level, I'm really excited to be able to bring some of those other collections from the public networks into Secret Network. Being able to hold them in privacy is really cool. And then I'm really excited to see what kind of use case can be unlocked by using secret NFTs on public networks as well. So I think it's we're just touching the surface right now, and I'm really excited to see what comes next. Hope, I think you got disconnected again there. You're showing as a listener. If you wanted to come back up on stage, go ahead and request again. Otherwise, we'll probably start winding down here in just a minute or so. Before we do, though, where can everybody find you, stay updated, and keep in touch with XP Network?
So the first step for you to find us would probably go to XP.NETWORK. That's our website. Very easy to remember. XP.NETWORK. You can find most of the information about us over there. But if you want to follow us in different social media platforms, you can scroll to the very bottom of our website, and in the footer, you can find the links to our Twitter, to our Telegram, Discord, Facebook, YouTube. We have a YouTube channel where we publish videos with different instructions, how our bridge can be used, how the library that accompanies the bridge can be used. So I haven't mentioned that besides the bridge that you can use from the UI, we have a library. It's public on NPM, so you can install it in your project. And you can use the bridge from inside your marketplace, metaverse game, or any other app which requires bridging NFTs between chains without going to our UI. If that's not something that you're interested in, but you want to use the Bridge UI, but you want it to look like it's part of your website, that's also possible. We have a widget where all the CSS is adjustable to any front end, including games. In the second version of the widget, we introduced transparent, basically everything. You can have transparent backgrounds, borders, everything. That will look nice at the background of pictures, images, or whatever there is in your game. So you can embed the widget. One of the cool things about the widget is that you can add additional fee for hosting the widget, and all the transactions through the widget will also bring you some profit, some income. While you can in the widget you can set which chains you support and which chains you don't want to support. Same thing goes for wallets. You can select the wallets that are relevant for your project and that are not. So this way you can tunnel the flow of NFTs relevant for your community. You can set from chain, like can be one chain which is from, or one chain which is to, for example, Secret Network. And you can bring NFTs only to Secret Network if that's what you want. So basically, these are the tools that you can use that we developed. And like I told you, following us is easy. Go to XP.NETWORK, scroll to the bottom. There you will find all the relevant links that will help you find more news about our company.
Awesome. Thank you. Pope, I got you up here on stage again. Did you want to leave us with any closing thoughts here?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dima, for coming to tonight, Agent of Roundtable, and thanks to everyone who tuned into tonight's space. We are glad to have you, and thanks for your support always. And also, thanks to Secret NFT for the question, and thanks for sharing Secret NFT to the ecosystem. Yeah, I guess that will be all for tonight. I don't know if Dima has any closing remark before we end tonight's space. Thank you.
Well, I wanted to thank you for hosting this event, for inviting us as speakers to be able to introduce our project to your ecosystem. And I think, personally, Secret Network is one of the most outstanding blockchains, especially on Cosmos ecosystem. I think you have a great potential with your secret or private NFTs in different sectors. I'm sure that you will be able to find very interesting in real physical life applications for this pattern. And we just have to think how we can transfer this information, or maybe not transfer it to the public chains, depending on the project, and basically develop and flourish together. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Dima.
Thank you for
I really appreciate it. And please go on.
I was just going to say thank you very much for coming and sharing. It's been a blast, and we should definitely do this again. Maybe with the next updates or something. We'll have to stay in touch and definitely plan on a follow up. Go.
Yeah, please don't forget to follow XP Network on Twitter. Just search for XP Network _. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us, and bye.
Thank you, and bye.
Have a great week, everybody. Thanks for coming.